All right, everybody, I owe you a DreamBot run. Do you want to see it or not? Because it's scary. In the DreamBot run, there's the word nightmare. But we are waking up to the oppression because one of the themes in here is awareness and notice. There are some similar themes that we had last week, but it really has changed quite a bit. All right, let's go through this without a big ordeal. Number one word, comp. Obviously, computing, and all that. But I was thinking just based on these themes, it didn't really fit into any other theme except for Jesus and high, which has this sort of comp feel, like compensation. So like you go to a casino, you pour a bunch of money out and they give you comps. They give you rewards. So anyway, that matches like a Jesus and high in my mind. It's our weakest theme, but it's there and it's the number one word. So there's that. The biggest theme in here, i.e. the theme with the most words is, let me zoom into here. You can see the legend, 9 words in control and power. That's interesting because we have control and power in the astrology. We have the Mars oppose Pluto. And remember, it's Mars contraparallel Pluto. It's both. So they're extra conflicted and they're not even exact yet. So when do they go exact? I forgot to check that, but it's probably going to be in the next CIRF report next week sometime. But power and control is definitely in the conscious mind, the collective unconscious. Supposed to. Staff. What does staff do? Well, staff controls the people. Must, shape, group, control. The word control is in there, etc. So then the dark blue is the awareness piece. The word aware, staring, notice, feel, waking, wanted, and sort. In order to sort things out, you need to be aware. You need to be comparing, etc. You need to be thinking. So that's the number 2 theme. Number 3 theme is fear and anxiety. And that's the word nightmare, blood, fragment, shadow. Shadow being the highest in that theme. It's almost like we're meeting our shadow. Now that correlates over to the control and power too, because, Pluto is the kind of the underworld and the shadow world. So just from the astrology standpoint, I think most of this run makes a lot of sense. And even the fear and anxiety, we're starting to see, check this out, starting to see gold today. Gold started at 60 up. So there's 2 like fear monitors in my mind. There's multiple fear monitors. One is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So if doesn't look all that scary, negative 113, whatever. The VIX is the fear measure or whatever. It's going lower, so that means less fear. But look at gold, up 93 right now. And it was up 60. And, it's your standard, nobody's even talking about it kind of thing. And if you compare that to silver, it's just ridiculous. Silver is still up, but not by much. And by the way, talking about this, these spot prices of metals, that's a match to the Venus sextile Uranus. Right? Especially being that it's sort of a treasure. It's hidden. Nobody's talking about it. No headlines other than your alternative. If you're lucky, you find the truth of what's really happening, but nobody seems to be acknowledging it. It's crazy. It's up. Gold. Watch this. Gold over the week. 7. Let's see right here. 7.5% in 1 week. In 1 month, it's up 11%. So that's that treasure chest thing that we were looking at on 18 April. So that's in 2 days. And in my mind, that is the treasure that we were looking for in the Imagine the Mermaid Finding the Hidden Treasure. I think that's something along those lines. Hope that you're in there, but if not, there's going to be other treasure. It doesn't have to be monetary, right? But the fear thing, with the fear in this collective unconscious, is the face-off. In my opinion, it's the Sun T-square in Taurus. When it goes exact on Easter, we have our opposition with Mars and Moon, but Moon and Pluto are in a conjunction, only 2.5 degrees. So this was the picture for that day, for Easter. What a picture for Easter, huh? Have you ever seen an Easter that looks like that prediction? But it's there in the unconscious, or the collective unconscious, the DreamBot. So doesn't it all make sense? So the title I had was oppression. Without oppression, you won't have a savior. But I ultimately, let's see because I forgot the title. Waking up to the oppression. Yeah, so we have the awareness and notice thing at the bottom in the blue. We have feeling saved with Jesus, getting high, and comp. We're going to be comped. Oh, man, I hope that's the right interpretation. Like, don't we all deserve to be comped? So, yes, all these can be true, and I think they pretty much are, and I think they're rolling out right now. So what do you all think? Did I miss something? We also have like words like park and city, pretty. I don't know. What do you guys think? There's just not enough words in there to make a theme out of. And then wall. That's the only other word I couldn't really fit in a bathroom. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. As far as psychology goes and the themes I've been seeing, I'm going to say nightmare. Nightmares are getting more common across my mental health complaints with the clients that I've had recently, and they seem to be just a regurgitation of old like things that they view as traumatic experiences. So more like a PTSD kind of a flair to it. Not like, because you can have all sorts of different kind of nightmares, right? And they don't seem to be the ones that are chasing you down or the monster or just some random like scary thing. They seem to be more of a version of the past experience that they didn't like. And so, in a way that seems like it controls them more than as the therapist, more than I would like. And so I get them, or at least this week, because of the nature of these nightmares. You can do a lot of different therapy things for nightmares. But because of the context of the more recent nightmares and the regurgitation of past experiences, it was a warning. I had this one client start to be grateful for this nightmare, and not all my clients. It just depends on the situation. But because this one was like the client was nightmare was getting stuck in the mental health hospital, and they had been there before and didn't like it, and so now when you have that dream again, it's frightening. It's, oh my God, it felt like I was trapped again. And we spin it. It's called cognitive reframing, to where we can use this nightmare as a reminder. A reminder? I don't want the reminder. Well, a reminder that you don't just get to the hospital unless you're in my situation, or my history was weird, but you don't just get to the hospital without having some sort of reason. And so as long as you maintain, in her situation, you maintain good mental health, you do things that benefit your mental health instead of deteriorate your depression or create a mania or keep you up all night or start seeing things, and Yes, there are things you can do to decrease the chances that you'll have a severe mental health problem that will get you put into the mental hospital. So, if we can use this dream or this nightmare as a reminder that, oh, yes, I need to be doing things, making choices that prevent me from deteriorating that bad to where I don't have to go to the hospital, right? Instead of fearing it, because if you fear it and create a panic, then you have a higher chance of going right back into the nightmare. So in this case, we were working on reframing your opinion of the nightmare. And then another context was, I can't remember the exact situation, but I remember the therapy was teaching the client how to be lucid in the dream. And when you're lucid in the dream, that just means you're aware that you're dreaming. As you're dreaming, you're in the dream and you know you're in the dream. And then from there, you have different levels of lucidity. So you, at the lowest level, you might just be aware, oh my gosh, this is a dream, but yet I can't control any of it. That's the lowest layer. Now, higher layers of lucidity, you're actually controlling everything in the dream. So if you can gain the skill, which I believe all of us can, if you know how, can gain lucidity in the dream, and then you enter into a nightmare, well, if it's a monster or a bad situation that you don't like, you just change it. Plain and simple. But on the higher levels, especially on the recurring nightmares, lucidity is a very interesting therapy, because as we practice leaning into emotional content, including anxiety, and you find yourself lucid in a nightmare, instead of just leaving or escaping or changing the dream or changing the context or changing the person that you don't like ask them, like, because under the theory that everything in the dream is a part of you, some aspect of you that wants to communicate maybe some symbol to you or some insight, while you're in the dream, while you're lucid, before you leave or before you change the scene, ask the monster, what are you here for? Why did you close the door? Why did you slam the door? Like, be curious to the different parts of you in the dream. Okay. And then lastly, I mean, there's so much about dreams and therapy and nightmares. And it depends if it becomes patterned or just a one time, or depends on what the dream material itself and the meaning. But we have this term called progress dreams. So especially on the patterned nightmares, so called recurring, you have a recurring nightmare. You can use dreams as the barometer for how you're doing in your progress. So a progress dream is demonstrating that there's something new that's happening in this nightmare, that even though it caused a lot of anxiety, you are showing progress in your mental health or in your behavioral choices or in your responses to life or whatever it is. Progress dreams, even if it's a tiny progress, look for progress dreams, look for changes that are improving. And I think that's the nuts and bolts of what I've been discovering or working with clients on in the past, like within the week. All right, there you have it. Do you have any questions? I'm sure you guys have interpretations that are slightly different than mine, but I think it's all there in the astrology. The collective unconscious is right along with the astrology. So, all right, that's all I got. We'll see you next week, starting with the CIRF Report on Monday. Take care. Cheers.